Okay, hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Leander Caney. I'm the editor and publisher of cultofmind.com. Joining me today, we have D. Griffin Jones coming in from Ohio. Welcome, Griffin.
Good evening. All right, where are you, Leander? Are you still in San Francisco?
I'm still in San Francisco.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm in a new office space. It used to be the larder off of the kitchen, so we cleared it out and made it into the world's tiniest office.
The what now? Is that some British room?
What do you mean, British room?
Larder.
What is larder?
Oh, larder.
Pantry is the term you're looking for.
Pantry.
You should put a little sign up outside of it. Pantry 1.
Wait, who are you? You haven't been introduced yet.
No!
And here that's right, Lewis Wallace. Here we have Lewis. He's about a block away from me. Welcome,
On the
Lewis.
surface of the moon.
It's actually hot in San Francisco today. The sun's come out and we're sweating.
I can't believe it. I had to open the window, which is what we call turning on the air conditioning.
Yeah, right. Well, we've actually got a super exciting show this week. I'm actually genuinely excited about it. There's a ton of really crazy news and some really exciting products from Apple. A new product that's been coming out. Blood oxygen is back, which is a very unexpected development. There's been some more flip-flopping on the iOS 26 beta. We have the craziest mobile Mac setup you've ever seen. We have a great reader question, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be enthralled about, because I'm sure it's a common problem. And we have some kind of charger thing, a review of a charger thing, some kind of charger thing that Lewis is going to show us, which I'm very, very excited about. So I'm stoked about this. So I'm pumped.
Wow. This early in the morning, too. That's crazy.
I just had a cup of coffee, so I'm completely buzzing out of my mind. In fact, our grinder's on the wrong setting. It only does like super fine espresso grind, so it tastes like the worst swill you've ever drunk, and it's loaded with about 2,000 milligrams of caffeine, so it does the job. So I'd actually like to thank our sponsor, and I'm excited. I'm even excited about the sponsor this week. Because it's Clean My Mac from MacPaw, which is the only thing keeping my Macs running. And I'm not exaggerating. It's a fabulous software that helps you control and care for your Mac. And it comes from MacPaw, which is a Ukrainian developer. They are really, really good. This thing is mature now. It helps you clean up files, save space. It does malware. It does real-time updates. It looks for all kinds of stuff. It really, it's the only thing that, like every time I run out of storage space, I run this. And in fact, I just looked at it now. I've got 35 gigabytes it's going to clean up if I run it. I'm not going to do it now because I'm doing the CultCast, but as soon as I finish this, I'm going to clear 35 gigs from my hard drive. And they have this new feature called Cloud Cleanup, which I'm not familiar with because I haven't seen this yet, but it connects your cloud accounts, like on iCloud, OneDrive, and Google Drive, and it scans the clouds for these large space-wasting files. It looks for sync files and unsynced files, both in your cloud storage and on your device, and it'll clear those up too. This seems like a fabulous development, so I'm looking forward to testing that out. One of the best things about it is the automatic thing. You just hit run, it scans your drive, and it'll do a quick cleanup. It's super automatic. You don't have to think about it. It's very, very trustworthy. Now, I know a lot of people sometimes kind of worry about this kind of stuff, and in fact, but anyway, I trust it. I've been using it for years. It's been totally great, and it's completely saved my bacon a load of times. Get tidy today. You can try it for 7 days for free. And if you use the code CultCast, that's CultCast, CultCast, for 20% off, that's a pretty good discount. And you go to it's clnmy.com/CultCast. So clnmy.com CultCast, and I highly recommend this software. Like, I've been using it for years. This is often the first thing I install on my Mac when I get a new Mac. I use it all the time. One of the essentials, one of the Mac essentials for sure. So I thank you very much for MacPaw for sponsoring the show. I mean, this is so mad news today, totally unexpected, out of the blue.
I know.
Blood oxygen is back.
I know, totally shocking. Apple sent out the press release just this morning. Redesigned blood oxygen testing feature. It's launching today, if it's not already out, for Apple Watch models that lost access to the blood oxygen app due to a patent dispute. Apple says that a recent U.S. customs ruling enabled them to come up with a workaround. So you're not going to get the actual blood oxygen app, which got disappeared. It's not going to appear on your Apple Watch. It's not going to work exactly the same as it does if you have an older Apple Watch that still has the app. Here's how Apple describes it. Sensor data from the blood oxygen app and Apple Watch will be measured and calculated on the paired iPhone, and results can be viewed in the respiratory section of the Health app, which, by the way, if you ever dig into the Health app, oh my God, there's so much data in there. It's crazy. Anyway, this only affects new Apple Watch Series 9, Apple Watch Series 10, or Apple Watch Ultra 2 models that were sold in the United States starting in early 2024. To get this, you got to install iOS 18.6.1 on your iPhone, watchOS 11.6.1 on your Apple Watch. Supposedly these are coming out today. As our writer, Ed Hardy wrote this up, and it's hilarious because just last week, or I lose track of time, I think it might have actually been this week, he wrote a post about, or an editorial, like Apple needs to fix this. And
right.
We've all been saying this, right? Apple, how can they let this
Well, this is
linger
why
on
it happened.
Because of the
obviously, Tim Cook saw that editorial, and he's like, "We got to fix this guy," so that's why it's come out. I mean,
I don't know. If
we
that's it.
irritated Ed Hardy. We've gone too far.
It's funny. Ed was saying Apple needs to just pay up and settle, which I think is actually far fetched because I don't think that the people that sued Apple, it's like to them it's like a blood feud. I don't think they're ever going to actually settle with Apple.
It was like the previous CEO of Massimo who made it his thing. We're like, no, we're going to fight this to the end. We're not going to settle. We're not going to take Apple's money. And the thing was, he was replaced as CEO, something like 6 months to a year ago, a while ago now. And everybody thought, oh, okay, now that he's out, since that was just his little pet project, maybe they'll have a resolution here. But no, that still hasn't happened. But
well, how does this get around the patent dispute? Because aren't they kind of, I mean, how does it work?
I
surely
think the
still
patent dispute was something with how the blood oxygen is measured on the watch itself. And so processing this data on the iPhone, I guess, technically circumvents what the patent was. Or at least an appeals court has judged that.
Yeah, it's completely bizarre. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, if I had to guess, and Apple's press release, of course, is not rich with details about all this, but the patent probably applies to a smartwatch that displays blood oxygen levels, and so now you don't have a smartwatch that displays blood oxygen levels. You have an iPhone that does. I mean,
well, how come they didn't think of this before? I mean, isn't that the obvious solution?
I don't know. Making you just Federighi's sitting around, takes a bong hit, and he's wait a minute. Oh man, we'll just display it on the iPhone. I mean, it's still a degraded situation, right? You can't. There's the blood oxygen app is pretty cool, and it's nice to be able to just see it right there on your wrist. Nice little animations. I love those kinds of apps.
Well, let's be honest. How many times have you used it?
Oh, all the time. No, I
used it once when I got it, and then I never looked at it again.
Didn't you use it over and over when you got COVID?
I did it. Well, yeah, exactly. That was the one time when I was worried about it. Yeah, I know that came in useful. And I saw actually a lot of people were talking about it then during COVID. People were sharing their results on socials. So. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, I don't think it's used for any other stuff. It's used for the sleep apnea.
It's one of the other metrics that I think they use in combination with a bunch of other stuff, like the Vitals app. I think might draw on it occasionally.
Okay.
It's part of their mix of features that they use to contribute to other things.
I see. Yeah. The Vitals app is great, actually. By the way, I was sick a week or two ago, and it totally detected that when I was sleeping.
Did it predict it?
I don't recall, to be honest. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it actually did, because I felt fine when I went to sleep. I woke up. The Vitals gave me a bunch of notifications saying that I'd had elevated breathing and elevated heart, and I felt rotten when I woke up. So
yeah, I've had that happen too. And I've never. I don't own an Apple Watch that has this thing disabled, so I don't really know. But I mean, was that sensor data going to the iPhone anyway, as part of the mix? Just you couldn't use the app? I don't actually know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I'm really curious how exactly it'll work when you start taking a blood oxygen reading after this solution goes out. There's a lot of interesting edge cases. Is it just gonna are you gonna see a notification appear on your iPhone lock screen that says, "Hey, look at your results"? And will they be able to still incorporate blood oxygen sensors in other areas like the Vitals app? Will it offload the processing to the iPhone and then send it back to the watch? lot of weird nuances here.
Intricacies, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had time to even really look into exactly what this all means. It just literally just happened before we started recording this. So
I mean, it just turned 10 o'clock Pacific time, so presumably the software update only just now went out.
It's just such a shocking thing to see come out, like especially after Ed wrote that thing this week and we were all like, yeah, all right, yeah. But his point was they're selling watches that are worse than previous versions, right? And so people who have a watch that has the blood oxygen app, you don't want to upgrade to something that has fewer features. You want to have, you want to have that restored. You want to keep that. You want to keep access to the thing you already have. So
I mean, honestly, do I look at it? No, but it's honestly held me back from buying a new Apple Watch. I don't want to buy one that's missing.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Well, the sensor's still there, so you're not, once you sort of in the back of your mind always trusting that it would get resolved and it would be restored just like it is today, well, not just like it is now, but similar.
Mm-hmm.
Figured it would happen, but thought it was going to happen a long time ago.
Yeah, I think all of us are surprised that it has taken this long.
Yeah. That was
Well, this is going to drag it on even longer as well, isn't it? I mean, because it's, they've sidestepped the issue. They haven't settled with the company.
Yeah,
so.
now there's no sense of urgency to get it resolved, is there?
No, right. They're going to be even mad, even more fuming. I wonder how that company's doing. I wonder if they're doing okay financially.
No idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is actually a super exciting story too. This is probably the most exciting story for me this week, which is that there's been more details revealed about Apple's weird Pixar lamp robot, which was originally rumored to be a robot arm, but now it's becoming a little bit clearer what it is, right, Griffin?
Yeah, so this is going to be the centerpiece of Apple's AI strategy, a tabletop robot targeted for release in 2027. A report coming from you-know-who. The device features a roughly 7-inch horizontal display, similar in size to an iPad mini, mounted on a motorized arm that can extend about 6 inches in any direction and rotate to follow users around a room. This is building on, I think, like a research Apple published earlier this year that just showed sort of like a proof of concept of a robot that was, like a robotic lamp. So didn't have a screen on it, obviously, but it could take directions, as in it would, turn and look at you, nod its head, turn around, nudge things that you needed, stuff like that. And it was really cute. But, obviously Apple isn't in the robot lamp business.
Not
so
yet.
This is a more... Not yet. It might be. You never know. But this is what they're actually going to do with that sort of technology. The robot will showcase an entirely reimagined version of Siri. Another one, I suppose, designed to be far more conversational and contextually aware than the current voice assistant. The new Siri will be able to inject itself into conversations between multiple people. It already does that from a certain point of view. Remember information throughout the day and engage in back and forth discussions about topics like trip planning or daily tasks. Apple envisions the device acting, quote, like a person in the room, capable of interrupting conversations about dinner plans to suggest nearby restaurants or relevant recipes.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster, to be honest.
But on chunk.
The company also works on a visual personality for Siri, testing an animated version of the Mac's Finder logo, though the final design may lean closer to Apple's Memoji characters. So you'll got a little blue Finder face smiling and talking at you on this thing.
Oh my God.
That sounds kind of cute.
For 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Gurman compared the prototyping to the infamous Clippy, Microsoft's
I'm sorry, who?
annoying interactive paperclip of yesteryear. Fun fact, his name is actually Clippit, but people
Is that right?
misremember and call him Clippy. Yeah. In Microsoft Word, either 98 or 2000. His official name was Clippit.
I didn't know that.
There's this weird nostalgia for Clippy/Clippit that I can only attribute to people who've never actually used Microsoft Office 2000. The robot is intended to sit on desks or kitchen counters, helping users manage their day, consume media, and get work done. FaceTime calls will be a key function, with the display able to automatically track and follow people around a room during video conferences. Apple is also testing a feature that would turn an iPhone into a joystick controller, allowing users to manually position the display to different angles. I guess kind of like the Apple TV remote. That could be kind of cool. Beyond the tabletop device, Apple is exploring other robotic projects, including a mobile robot with wheels. similar to Amazon's Astro, and has also talked about humanoid models, which is interesting. The company also works on a large mechanical arm that it might use in manufacturing facilities and retail stores, but its completion could be years away. The tabletop robot is currently in the prototyping stage and targeted for 2027.
Well, the early rumors about this, I think, that were confusing because they're talking about when they talk about a robot arm, you think about this thing plonked on the table, and it'll have an arm that will, snatch you a cake off your plate or stuff like that. But the arm is the articulating mechanism for the screen. And the interesting thing is, if you look at Apple published a paper from their AI team showing how to give a robot that looks like a Luxo lamp personality and give it how it can communicate with humans using various movements to indicate understanding, disagreeing, being confused. And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating paper, and it's a fascinating video because just like that, the famous Luxo Lamp Junior from Pixar, how many emotions or sort of internal states that it can communicate. If it doesn't understand something, it cocks its head. If it agrees, it nods. If it doesn't know, it shakes its head. And of course, Apple's long been doing this. Like a good example is when you log in, you try to log in, you get your password wrong, and it shakes the box, or it used to show that you've got it wrong. So, I mean, this is going to be like Her on steroids. I think people are going to fall in love with this device. It's going to be like a strange pet that will really allow that people will invest their emotions in, because I think it'll be uncanny as hell. It'll really seem like it will have life. It'll seem as though it understands, and it'll be much better at interacting. It won't be robot-like. It'll be I think somewhat human-like, somewhat animal-like, like a pet. And I think this is why I'm excited about the thing. I think because they're so clever, they really do think about these interactions, and if it has these characteristics, I don't think it'll be as intrusive as people think. I don't think people won't be freaked out by it so much. I think it'll instill a very strange sense of trust. Of course, there's going to be downsides to this as well. I think because people might fall in love with the thing. And I mean, there was a report this week about someone who was spending weeks talking to some chat GPT, some chat bot, and it convinced them they were superhuman. And I think there was some tragic end to that. I just saw the headline, didn't read the story. But I think this is fascinating, and it's coming out next year. Crazy.
27, right?
I mean, the thing is, this is tied to another revision of new series, so it might actually, be held off for a few years. But I mean, if it looks like a tiny iMac G4, I'm sold instantly. A little screen on a robot arm with presumably a weighted solid base. I mean, might as well make it half dome shaped. Might as well make it white. Tiny iMac G4, instant buy.
Right.
Where are you going to put it?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter where I put it. It can move around, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it should.
I think it's going to sit right in the middle of your coffee table and be in the way and offer useless interjections.
7-inch screen sounds kind of small for FaceTime, especially if it's like you're walking around the kitchen. Maybe, I don't know, would it be?
I mean, presumably it'll be like iPad proportioned, so it'll be like a 7-inch 4x3 screen, which is a little bigger than like a 7-inch iPhone screen, but that also did stand out to me. That's kind of small.
Do you think the use cases for it, FaceTime's an obvious one and a good use case. And, I guess answering questions, being an AI companion,
if you have an island in your kitchen, like stick it in the middle there, and then you've got something you can throw and like recipes on, because that's where a lot of like planning of the day happens, I think, in most American households at least.
Right.
That actually seems like a good use for it, having all your recipes displayed on something, and if it can actually answer questions, in a useful way, that would be great. And in fact, since it has a screen, unlike a HomePod, which has to say, "Oh, look on your iPhone for the answer,"
right?
It
I was
can
going to say that. That's going to
show you the answer.
That's the end of that. I can show you on your iPhone. Yeah. My goodness me. Yeah. Good riddance to that.
Mm-hmm. It really depends on if they nail Siri. I mean, if they actually make Siri good, that would make it useful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tying more and more important hardware products that are dependent on the new series. So I think that's giving the company like a certain amount of motivation there.
Well, there was a report this week we ran as well about how the new improved Siri will use app intents so you can completely control your iPhone with your voice. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I think clearly this is the way it's going, isn't it? The sort of, I don't know how long it's going to take there, but the next generation UI is going to be much more of this, chat-driven, AI-driven interactions. Where you just ask the thing to do stuff for you, and it'll go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but there's also I've been reading a little bit of the AI safety stuff recently, and there's a lot of dangers involved in giving it access to everything on your device. Your full calendar, all your health information, medical information, insurance information, financial information. For it to work properly, it's going to have to access that, and there's a lot of Apple's going to be very careful with this. It could be a huge disaster if anything goes wrong. So Apple's also got some really cool sounding home security products coming up. This is they're trying to get a stronger foothold into the smart connected home market, and they got this, apparently what is called an ambitious lineup of home security devices that include smart cameras and a facial recognition doorbell that can unlock doors. This is according to a new report coming out Wednesday by somebody whose name we will not mention. The centerpiece of this of the security push is a battery-powered camera codenamed J450, and it's designed to compete directly with Amazon's Ring, Google Nest, other established players in the home security space. The iPhone giant plans for the device to run several months a year on a single charge. And it's that's supposed to be in line with rival products. The camera system incorporates facial recognition technology and infrared sensors that can identify specific individuals in a room, enabling personalized home automation responses. That sounds kind of interesting. The cameras could automatically turn off lights when someone leaves a room or play a particular family member's preferred music when they enter a space. Apple envisions users deploying multiple cameras throughout their homes, similar to how many customers have placed their HomePod mini speakers in different rooms. Apple's also tested a smart doorbell that can use face detection to automatically unlock doors. The devices will integrate with the existing HomeKit platform and work alongside other Apple products. And that could include a rumored HomePod with a display that we've just been talking about, or an iPad that could serve as a central home hub. Well, this sounds, I don't know, I don't like cameras around the house.
Yeah, me neither. I can trust Apple to not upload it all to iCloud servers where they can all, sell it to the police or something like that. But I haven't seen a very good use case or convincing enough selling point for having a camera inside the house. But automating it so that you don't have to turn on your own lights, you just walk into a room and the lights will just come on. That's pretty neat. If you have a big enough house and people just aren't good at turning lights off, you just wander, you do your rounds at the end of the night, turn off all the lights. Inspired by a true story, I'll just say that. But that's also then dependent on buying this camera and also buying smart home controlled light switches. If you're going to have a smart home, I do recommend having smart light switches rather than smart light bulbs, because you don't want to be that house that, keeps the light switch taped on and then you don't know how to turn it off. And you have to learn the magic incantation to shout into the air to have it intelligently turned off. You get smart home light switches, you get this camera thing, and then it'll all supposedly be magical. But that's a bit of a hard sell for Apple to make.
What do you think it could be? I mean, why do they need facial recognition? Because they would have motion sensors and smart light switches that can detect motion or presence.
Oh, yeah. That's so you can set up your own automations. So you can, it'll detect your face in the living room and know, oh, when I'm in the living room, I want you to turn off the lights in this other room, maybe.
That just seems like extremely specific use cases. And I just, having used smart home stuff for years and years, I mean, it's great when you turn off all the lights at once, with a single phrase or whatever. That stuff's great. Some of this stuff of recognizing who's in a room and I mean, can you imagine setting up these elaborate scenarios? Well, when I'm in the living room, but my wife is not, then I want you to play AC/DC. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And if she comes in, it's going to instantly switch to some show tunes or something.
Right. And if we're both there, then what? Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm very excited about the front doorbell, although I already have a Google Nest doorbell, which is awesome. I mean, not having that, I can't even imagine going back to not having a smart doorbell. I mean, maybe it's not that big of a deal if you don't live in a big city, but I mean, actually, I think I'd be just as likely to have one if I lived out in the country. 'Cause I like to know who's coming up to my front door, when and why. And
so you can pretend you're not
right.
home. Hide quickly, turn off all the lights.
I mean, it's awesome though, because you see, there's my aunt just showed up at the door and she thought I was there and she wanted to drop off a pie. Well, I mean, in reality, you could get a real-time alert and you can open your front door and say, hey, Aunt Candy, put the pie on the thing. Thanks a lot. I mean, that's pretty great.
Or you don't need to leave a key under the mat. You can just, add their Apple ID to the smart doorbell, and then they can just wave their phone or their watch in front of it, and they can get in. You don't have to make copies of keys and leave them around. And
I didn't even have one of those home key, compatible ones yet. But even just being able to open it remotely through the Home app is a beautiful thing. So.
Well, the facial recognition thing is kind of like isn't that sort of a natural extension of smart speakers recognizing particular users now, so that it can say, it recognizes who it's talking to, so it can pull up that particular person's calendar or their music preferences or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think there are kind of I'm trying to think of other use cases where recognizing your face would be important
in the house.
Yeah, internally. And I can't really think of any. And like you said, it's outside that setting up all the routines and everything. I mean, it's already complex, even with light switches and turning the heating on. In fact, our Nest thermometer is completely worthless. It has supposed to have a setting where it detects whether people are in the house or not, and that seems to work the exact opposite of how it's supposed to work. It turns on the heating when no one's around and turns it off when we are here. I'm not really sure, what else, what other kind of use cases could you have? The curtains, lights, heating, AC. I can't think of why it would need to recognize. It's useful to recognize a person, but not a specific person.
I got one. You walk into the room and you turn on the Apple TV and it knows it's you. You don't have to go up and select that it's you and not your wife or your kid. That's
okay.
And if there are other things like that, like who knows?
Or it hides the saucy thing you're looking when it sees your wife come up the stairs.
I mean, there's got to be other things, right? I don't know what they are. The idea of building these complex scenarios seems daunting and, frankly, probably not worth the effort. But, it could be that you make it so that, you're the one who likes to have all the windows open and the lights cranked all the way up. And when you walk in the room, it does that for you every time. And,
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, interesting stuff, interesting times. Of course, it's all tied into this, this robot iPad too. Anyway, yeah, we're living in the future. Very, very exciting. Talking of that, iOS 26 Beta 6 and a new public Beta 2. When did this come out, Griffin?
This was just earlier this week on Monday, 1 week after Beta 5, so we're getting into the, end game here where they're releasing new versions every single week. We have 6 new ringtones.
Woohoo!
Exactly. That's the spirit. The default ringtone, I guess if you're not familiar, I mean, a lot of people keep their phones on silent, so you might not actually know what the default ringtone sounds like, is called Reflection.
Oh, I can hear the people raging.
Yeah. And earlier betas of iOS 26 added a new one called Reflected that has now been renamed. I think previously it was called Reflection Alt 1, but now it has a new name, and it, as a recap, it sounds like this. So that's pretty fun. But there are now a bunch of new variations. This one is called Buoyant. Fun. This one is called Dreamer. We have a new one called Pond.
That one's great. It sounds like Jethro Tull.
Oh, yeah. This one called Pop. And this one is clearly the best. I don't know why, but it just goes so hard. This one is called Surge.
Wow. Clubbing.
Does your iPhone screen also do like a disco ball kind of a...
It should. I feel like I need sunglasses when I listen to that one. Yeah, and there's also a new one that's separate called Little Bird.
Wait a minute. That's not you whistling? That whistle is included in it?
I was like, who's whistling?
Oh, my God.
Play that one again?
Oh, sure.
I was impressed by your whistling capabilities. Wow.
That one's got that kind of good, bad, and ugly vibe. Sergio Morricone, a little bit.
Sure.
So which one's your favorite?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be...
The Surge?
It's got to be Surge. Yeah, I'll be setting it to that. And I'll never hear it, but maybe eventually I will, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Play it one more time, will you?
Oh, yeah.
So we can... So you'll never answer your phone because you'll be just rocking out to that.
You know,
Exactly. It might actually be a problem.
with all the cool lock screen customization stuff that Apple's doing, they absolutely should make the like the big whatever the time numbers just like go up and down with that bounce in time with that music. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually. Can you play the pond again? I think that was my favorite.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like that woodwind. It's very calming.
Little flute in there. iOS 26 Beta 6 also changes the camera mode switcher yet again. So scrolling through the camera modes, where the list of modes scrolls with your finger. And not only did they change that, but they also removed the setting. So in Beta 5, they had a setting where you could enable called classic mode switching that would revert it to that, but now it's just like that all the time. So the ability to choose has been taken away from us. And I see this as an absolute victory because it reverts to, again, the muscle memory that all of us have had, swipe to the right to switch to video modes. It's all there again. But they gave us a little taste of what it could have been, and I think a little people are upset about that, but you know what? They made their decision now. That's what betas are for. Things change.
And this is probably going to be set in stone. How many more betas we're going to see before the official release?
I mean, we're only 3 or 4 actual weeks until the iPhone event. So presumably 5 weeks from now. So maybe only 3 betas or 2 more betas, depending on how many they do.
I'm kind of actually sad. I quite like the new way of doing it. That made sense to me. And I think it was easier to see what was coming up too.
Yeah, but the thing is, the more you play around with the system and pay attention to other user interfaces like that, when you're in Safari and you're switching between tab groups, that switcher looks and works exactly the same. You're also swiping your finger and scrolling that way. There's the new Messages app on the Mac when you're scrolling through different details in the conversations pane, that also scrolls the same way. This is actually a pretty common user interface, and it's weird to have just one that people use all the time work the opposite way.
Yeah, good point.
You may have noticed this if you're watching the video, but Beta 6 significantly speeds up animations for opening and closing apps. It feels just super zippy fast now. Weirdly, it doesn't get any faster when you're opening and closing folders. That's still a little slow, but...
Pokey.
Yeah. Another new change, Liquid Glass, has infected the default toggle switch. So you flip a toggle switch, it turns into glass. jelly and jumps over and then falls back into a switch. It doesn't just slide over anymore. So that's fun. And there's a new onboarding screen that they're adding more of these things as iOS 26 gets close to officially launching. When you first install the update, you'll see like, big, ooh, your phone looks like this now. And it shows you a little walkthrough. So yeah, that is 26 beta 6.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people really excited about the faster animations for opening and closing apps. So, like, oh my goodness, I've got a brand new phone. It seems so quick now. There were some people were worried about 60 hertz refresh screens, though. If they don't upgrade the screen refresh rate with the iPhone 17, that it might look a bit jarring. On those, although cause I've got a Pro, so I haven't been using a 60 hertz screen for a while, so I don't really remember what it was like.
That's the thing that you can disable in accessibility settings, so maybe I'll do that right now. Motion, limit frame rate. No, it still looks fine to me. I mean,
Yeah.
you see a few, like a little less frames of it, but it's not like you're confused on what's happening. Like,
For me, it was the only kind. You can only see a difference when they're side by side. I know some people lose their minds about this, like the Android crowd especially, because this is supposed to be like, oh my god, I can't believe Apple's charging so much money for a phone with a 60 hertz refresh rate, and they complain. They've been complaining about this for years and years. How do you like the new OS, iOS 26? When I look back at the older versions now, they look dated and horrible.
yeah, I'm the same way. iOS 18 looks ancient to me. I'm still getting used to Tahoe. There are a few odds and ends that are kind of weird there. Like especially the fact that Safari windows are just so rounded with the corners now. How I usually use Safari on my Mac is I have one window in the center and then I have like a few other windows and I all have them like, arranged in sort of like a cascade thing. Like if you open Safari and you just hit Command N like 5 times in a row, you'll open 5 windows all sort of arranged like diagonally and close to each other and mostly overlapping. And that's how I like to use Safari. But the thing is, because the corners are so rounded, you have less area to click if you want to pick one of the windows in the middle of the stack. Like you have like a small, like few pixel range where you can click on the corner of a window without clicking the new tab button and without clicking like the invisible resize area on the side of the screen. Like you really have to be very precise now because they've taken all the corners off. So I'm thinking maybe I'll write a whole piece about macOS Tahoe and the new design there. But that takes a lot more getting used to than iOS, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. I like it. I think it looks really good looking. The one thing I don't like is the new splash screen you get on when you upgrade to iOS 26, and it says welcome in this awful looking jelly font. It's supposed to be liquid glass, but it looks really cheap and awful. It looks like some horrible ice sculpture or some sort of cheap, plasticky, nasty looking. It doesn't look elegant at all to me. But I love the new. I like Tahoe on my machine. I think it really made it look. It's, I can't really sort of put my finger on it, but it's more colorful. It's brighter. I like the new look. It looks more modern.
Does it irritate you that now window title bars are always left aligned rather than centered?
I cannot say that I've actually honestly noticed.
That's right. I mean, that's right. Like a lot of modern apps like Safari and Photos don't even have titles in the title bar of the window. It just reminds me of Windows. The Mac ever since 1984 has had centered title bars in their windows, and now some of them are like many more of them are left aligned, and it really bugs me. But
okay, yeah, I can honestly say that 30 years of using a Mac, I've never ever actually ever noticed that. Not once. Well, but be sure to do a editorial about that, and I'll bet Apple will fix it next week, just like they fixed the blood oxygen sensor.
Oh, trust me, I've been filing feedbacks. They've just been ignoring them. So
the next exciting segment of the show is our setups post, where we highlight a setup. A Mac setup. This one was one of the craziest ones I've seen for a long while. Lewis, why don't you tell us all about it?
Yeah. When you were saying crazy, you weren't kidding. So this guy, he set he actually he owns a MacBook, but he decided instead he wanted like a more high-powered mobile rig. So he takes a 13-inch M3 iPad Air, some no-name 7-inch LCD touchscreen, a Mac Mini, M4 Mac Mini with an Omni 20 Plus portable power bank. And the craziest split keyboard you've ever seen, which actually I love those kinds of split keyboards, much more natural. And then right in the middle of it, a magic trackpad with some crazy skin on top of it. I mean, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it looks like it's set up in like an Elks Lodge dining hall or something. So this is his mobile rig. He packs this into a hard case and carries it around and uses it instead of his perfectly good M1 MacBook Air. So
the M1 MacBook Air is older and slower than the M4 Mac Mini. The Mac Mini has the best performance per money you can spend on an Apple product.
I'm sure it's super powerful and fantastic, but wow, this is one crazy portable rig. I mean, it technically, it is portable, but you sort of need a suitcase, I think. Let's see. What did this guy say? So, what?
He was explicit about that, wasn't it? He wanted the performance, and he didn't care about the convenience. So he knew he was making a trade-off here. And he said that he's been really happy with it. He's been using it since Christmas, and he hasn't missed his laptop once, he says. But it is mad, isn't it? Like, it's a deconstructed MacBook. He's pieced it together,
and it's kind of hilarious. I mean, he makes a good point. He says there's a premium for the convenience of a laptop, and to be honest, most people use them like desktop 90% of the time anyway. That's completely true.
Yeah, if you want the same specs, it's usually like $700 to $1,000 more if you want a laptop over the equivalent just Mac Mini or Mac Studio. I mean, the other advantages of like getting a desktop is that on the Mac Studio you can get an Ultra chip, which you can't get on a laptop at all, and so that would be an advantage to doing this portable setup. But he hasn't done that. I think he doesn't even specify having the M4 Pro. He just has the M4 Mac Mini. But I guess if you really want to spend less money and you already have an iPad, you could try to do something like this. He plugs it into a little power bank so he can, again, carry it around in a coffee shop or something without plugging it in, not looking for an outlet. But try setting up this on an airplane tray table and you've got a bit of a precarious situation, I'll say that.
Right.
Look at all those cables back there too. Mm-hmm. I mean, geez, I don't know. He looks like he's set up. It looks like something like some kind of rig a hacker would use in a sci-fi movie or an action movie, right? Like you go and you set up in a dark corner of something and you have to have all this firepower to do all this stuff. So I don't know.
Well, he hasn't made it easy for himself because he has two displays, and I think the iPad can actually work as a display for your Mac Mini wirelessly just by using what do you call it? Continuity, maybe something. I don't remember the name of it, but sidecar. That's it.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, if you could go for a simpler setup if you just have the Mac Mini on a power bank, a normal Bluetooth keyboard with an integrated trackpad, maybe, and then you just use a Vision Pro as a display. I mean, then you're offloading the cables onto your head instead of on the table, but.
I can't even tell what he's using that little tiny display. I guess it's just like a secondary. But I can't. My eyes aren't good enough to tell what he's running on there. But
it says sunglasses M4A, dot M4A. So I don't know, what is that.
And he's got a Finder window back there. So, and it looks like he's using the iPad for Safari. His desktop is littered with files, by the way. I don't know if that's what you were going to say.
It looks kind of like mine. Yeah.
Oh, that didn't even blink at that.
Yeah, the most normal part of the setup, really.
But yeah, I mean, it's hilarious because usually the setups that we showcase in our setups column or whatever you want to call it, they're usually like they look like somebody spent 4 hours with a set designer getting everything absolutely fantastically set in exactly the right way and the lighting exactly right, and everything just looks almost AI generated, right? Mm-hmm. And this guy's like, yeah, here's my stuff. I just threw it on a laminated table somewhere. Although, what is it, like a bearskin rug or something off to the left there? I don't know. It's a really odd picture. And the more I look at it, the more fascinated I am. I want to know where he's at. Like,
what's that thing under the table? Is that like a catcher's mitt or like a baseball glove or something?
I think he's wearing shorts.
Oh,
those are his pants.
Right.
Okay. They look like basketball shorts, maybe. sports
I, don't
shorts.
know, I endorse. I mean, I'm a big endorser of the Mac Mini, but I mean, don't try to make your Mac Mini something that it's not. It's not a laptop.
It's
I'm impressed with the ingenuity here. It's actually not the craziest mobile setup I've ever seen, because I saw a picture that circulated on socials a few years ago of someone who was carrying around a 27-inch iMac. And I think they had it on a train. They plugged it into a train somewhere or in a coffee shop. A little less convenient, but this one is definitely number two.
I wonder what kind of keyboard that is, though. I can't.
I was gonna say, I hate those keyboards. Do you actually like
It
them?
is the Lily 58 split keyboard.
Oh.
So I think it's,
What are those
it's something
weird
that he built
little,
himself, maybe.
Transparent perspex things in the corners, in the upper
Yeah, I can't.
left
I
and the
can't
upper
tell.
right corner.
I think that maybe that's like a Bluetooth chip or something, but it's just the style of the keyboard to show it because, transparent things are cool again.
It looks
Yeah.
looks really
Or maybe it's just there
really
for style.
bizarre.
Yeah, the custom skin though, that on the trackpad.
Yeah, that threw me off for a while. I mean, I didn't even know you could do that.
I thought it was a coaster.
Yeah, it looks like a postcard. It should just say "Welcome to Oregon."
That's probably where he is, right? That's in this hunting lodge, high up in the mountains somewhere, with the
Yeah,
leathery
I can't-
seats
I-
and
I
the
really-
bearskin rug.
I can't place it. It has a very I don't know, a very odd feel.
All right, well, let's move on. This is the time of the show where we talk about the reader question. This was a good one because I've had this problem too. And the question comes from Darth Inkling, and it was in the Cult Club Discord. So Darth Inkling says, can someone please tell me how to stop this? My wife and I are both using a Mac, me on a MacBook Pro M3, her on an iMac. I'm trying to use my AirPods Pro on my MacBook Pro, which I have been connected to previously. She's in a meeting on the iMac, and when I put my AirPods Pro in my ear, it automatically connects to them and takes over as a meeting audio output. So he starts hearing a meeting. Both devices are connected to my iCloud account, which we both share. So yeah, this switching stuff it can be a headache sometimes. I've had this problem too. So Griffin knows how to fix this, right, Griffin?
Yes, although I'm not an AirPods user, I've heard this complaint enough that I've learned the solution. You can turn off the AirPods automatic switching on a per device basis. So first you want to connect your AirPods to that particular iMac. Then when you're signed in, you can just open system settings. And at the very bottom of the sidebar of settings, like nearby keyboard, mouse, trackpad, etc., you should see your AirPods show up in that list. And then from that menu, there's a setting called Connect to this Mac, and it's set to automatically by default. And the other setting is When last connected to this Mac, which is an awkward name for that setting, but basically what it's saying is you want to set it so that your AirPods only connect to that Mac, if they've been connected to that Mac previously, manually. So you set it to that setting, connect to this Mac when last connected, and then it'll stop automatically taking over your wife's meetings when you put your AirPods in. And the annoying thing is that you have to turn it on every device you've ever connected your AirPods to. It'll automatically connect to that again. So you have to go through all these settings if you have like a lot of Macs sitting around your house or an iPad that you don't use too often anymore. But that is the solution.
On a per device basis, yeah. So not so easy, but not too hard either.
Yeah, and there are also instructions
probably,
in that article that we'll link in the show notes where you can turn it off on an iPhone or iPad as well.
All right. Well, I hope Darth Inkling, we fixed your problem. Please let us know.
Short and sweet solution. And if you have a question, leave them in the link at the top of the show notes.
That's right. Yeah. We'd love to answer questions. So yeah, please do. Please ask us whatever's vexing you. So Lewis, this week our review section, we're going to talk about some mysterious charger thing.
Oh, it's so mysterious. It is actually somewhat mysterious, and this is the only thing I don't like about it is the name. The name is Ankor Mago wireless charging station, and then in parentheses 3-in-1, foldable pad. I mean, come on. Who came up with this name? Anyway, here's what it looks like. I don't know. Have you ever seen this thing? It's I remember when Ankor showed this off during a briefing, for CES, I think last year. I don't know. And I was like, wow, that looks really different and cool. And I actually requested a review unit back then. I never got one. I never received one. I don't know why. So last month, when I was getting ready to go on vacation, I realized I don't have a 3-in-1 charger to take with me to Europe. And I'm like, oh, God. And I got up on the morning I was leaving. I went to Amazon, I ordered this, and they delivered it like within 5 hours. And I was like, that's awesome. And
Joys of living in San Francisco.
Yeah. So the way that this thing works, I mean, it's round for, for those of you who don't have a video feed. It's round. It's got like a small round thing on the top. It unfolds into like, well, geez. Sure it does. It unfolds into 3 different round things. One is a MagSafe for your iPhone. One is...
Hold it up a little higher.
Sorry. One is a round MagSafe pad for your iPhone. The center is a charging pad for AirPods, and the tiny one is one for your Apple Watch. And it snaps together or folds together magnetically into this little thing. I don't know.
Oh, very nice.
What is it, like half the size of a tennis ball or something? I mean, roughly. Very small, basically. It comes with charging cable, fine, 3-foot. Not the greatest charging cable ever made, not braided or anything, but at least it exists. Comes with a fairly small charger that puts out enough power to charge all 3 of your devices at once. Folding little, this is standard folding little, whatever those are called. Prongs, outlets. Prong, I guess is the word. And, it's 3 different pieces, which is awesome. Because then you can also use it, like if you just want to charge your phone in a hurry, you can plug it directly into here. It charges a little faster because it's not wireless, if you just go straight into the thing. And here's aside from the portability and the sort of the fact that it all disconnects makes it very easy to stow and not bulky and not hard to stow. The really great thing, and this is another thing, every time I go to Europe, I take a handful of these little things that cost like $1 on Amazon. And the great thing about this thing is it doesn't use it puts out enough power from a small power plug or whatever. And so you can plug it into that and it won't fall out of the wall. That's the biggest problem that I have when I go to Europe, there's never enough outlets. So this is great because you can charge 3 things at once and it will stick in the wall with this tiny thing. I don't have to carry a giant, power plug adapter. Just have these 3 things or these 4 things, and it worked like a charm. The whole time it was just great. I found myself.
Well, did you need little separate dongles for Germany, Italy, Spain?
No, this is the one European thing. $5 on Amazon for 5 of them. You can't have enough of them because of course
that's
you're
a little
leave.
Plug adapter. What you're holding.
Oh right,
there.
I didn't tell you. Yeah, it's just literally just a little thing that you plug. You plug the normal U.S. style plug into that thing, and it goes in. The problem is that if you have any kind of heavy charging, whatever this is called, I have the hardest time with the terms for these things. The power adapter, I suppose. The brick, whatever. Yeah, if it's big, and you put this little tiny cheap adapter on it, it's going to fall out of the wall, or this thing's going to disconnect from it. It's a giant pain and especially if you're moving every day and going to different places and always trying to find a place to charge everything, right? So I absolutely love this thing. It retails for like, what did it retail for? $89.99. They actually had it on sale for $61.99. That was after I bought it. But I paid like I paid like $70 for it on sale, and I was still happy. It's just fine. I mean, because it's just so small. It's so easy to just toss into a tiny little zippered part of my backpack. I always knew where it was. It wasn't poking a hole in anything. It's the surface of this thing is kind of slightly matte. It has a nice feel. It comes in 4 colors, that's the big mistake I made. Is I bought the black one. So when you're traveling and you're in a different hotel room every other night or something, you're looking around. You would not believe how many of the tables in those rooms are black. And so I couldn't see this thing sitting there. And that was my one disappointment. Like it comes in, I think, pink and teal and white. Any one of those colors would be better for fumbling around in unfamiliar circumstances and searching for a thing. The other thing that's kind of weird about it, that MagSafe connector, it's so powerful. It's actually almost kind of hard to get your phone off of it. You have to use two hands. Otherwise, it kind of can't be done. Well, I mean, it can be, but it's way
You
easier to
gotta
use two hands.
learn a different way to take it off, like slide it maybe.
I never, even a month of it, I never got proficient with that. I still always had to use two hands. So, I don't know. I'm always looking for the smallest, lightest stuff I can get to take. Because, of course, we travel in, the cheapest way possible with a carry-on bag that can't weigh more than 20 pounds. And so something like this that you can store and stash and, break it down, set it up, super easy, very convenient, very, very handy.
Honestly, if you have any more than just an iPhone, I think one of those 3-in-1 chargers is absolutely essential. And honestly, if you know somebody who has an iPhone and an Apple Watch, an iPhone and AirPods, an iPhone and whatever else, like that's a perfect gift to give somebody as well.
Yeah,
around the holidays.
It really is. And, especially if you're in a place, if you've got 3 different chargers and there's only one plug, it's a nightmare, right? I like this so much. When it was on sale, I sent my wife a link. I said, hey, look, this is on sale. Do you want one? She instantly bought one. Hers is pink. So, I mean, it's definitely one of those convenient things that you find to be very helpful on the road. I know Ed likes something, I think it's called a Butterfly or something by another company. I can't remember.
12 South. Yeah, 12 South. I think they were the first one to come out with one of these, that style.
That's a 2-in-1, I think. For me, 3-in-1, when I'm on the road, I'm constantly using my AirPods. I'm constantly using my iPhone. I'm constantly using my Apple Watch. And this is, you can find cheaper ones, I suppose, from brand names you never heard of. I don't mind spending just a little bit extra because it's super small, and I trust Ankor to not blow up my stuff.
And I think that the middle one is just like a regular Qi charger, right? So you could charge a second iPhone on that in a pinch, probably.
Yeah. It's I don't know how much power it puts out. I haven't checked the specs on that. I've never tried to use it with 2 phones at once, but definitely works with the holy Apple trio.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, those things are great. I've got an older one that I can't remember what company it's by. It's bulkier and they're square, so it folds.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 squares fold into each other, and it comes with a little. The nice thing about it has a really nice little felt case, but it's much bulkier than that. Yeah, I agree. Those things are absolutely essential if you're going to be traveling and you've got Apple Gear.
Yeah, I mean, you could put this easily in your jeans pocket. I mean, I wouldn't do that. There's no reason to, but I mean, it's pretty small. I mean, I don't know what it is, maybe.
Or a handbag or a jacket pocket.
It's only like 2 inches wide, 2 inches in diameter. So a little bit more on the sides that have almost 3 inches on the sides with the the sort of rubbery straps that go between the 3 circles. But
yeah, and it's well made. It's
it feels very solid. Like I said, that MagSafe thing is almost too strong. Yeah, I mean the only place it seems like they cut corners at all is just on the sort of plasticky cable, but it worked just fine.
Well, we'll have a link to that as well in the show notes if anyone's interested in checking it out. So I think actually that just about wraps it up. That's all the CultCasts we have for you this week. If you want more, you can follow Lewis on Twitter at Lewis Wallace, Griffin's on Mastodon and Blue Sky at D Griffin Jones, and I write a newsletter every day for the Cult of Mac, and that's if you go to newsletters.cultofmac.com, you can sign up there. That's the best newsletter you're going to get in the whole Apple universe, to be honest. So I'd highly recommend that. Yeah. Send us a text using the link at the top of the show notes or the YouTube comments and ask your questions for the show. We'd love to get your questions. We're super stoked about answering common problems. That's been the CultCast, the best hour-long Apple show you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Goodbye.
See ya.
All right. Well, I'm actually not getting any better as a host. I'm sorry. I thought this week I'll nail it. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm actually finally going to like.
You did better on the outro this time.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep messing things up, but it's a source of great embarrassment.
Well, I thought that was good. I'm always happy when we have like genuinely great news to go on the show. Because we record late in the week, that's the advantage we have. And when Mark this is Wednesday evening, early publishing.
Does German have a show?
I don't think he does, no.
He goes on TV quite a lot, but I thought there was a good mix of stuff in there.
about on time once we cut out the 10 minutes of fumbling around.